Blessings, everyone, and welcome to the DNA activation through the summer solstice. And I'm not sure if you guys have been feeling the frequency of today, but I am definitely feeling it. And I'm excited to bring through these frequencies in a way that we can really elevate our experience of what it is to be human. And, it's funny that I was sitting in that a little bit before I got on today and almost like opening the invitation to what you want to experience within this activation. Because what I was starting to see, it's interesting that yesterday we had this DQ clearing and it was such an odd clearing. It's like what I was seeing in the message that was in it is take the first step and then you'll be given what to do. And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that mean? And I was sitting in it today and I was like, oh, it's opening up this frequency of what we're about to activate. And so it was this shift of the old paradigm, if you will, or the programmed reality into the creation, or when our consciousness starts to move out of a programmed reality. In the beginning, it's very abstract, right? And so that's was the invitation, is take a step into the abstract, into the unknown, and you will be told what to do. And not like this big voice is going to come through. It's more that your consciousness was going to hit an intelligence that's outside of the matrix, to where you the collaboration of, if you want to call it the new earth, the quantum body. It's it's just what is life outside of the programming that we know. And to live in that space, you're always taking a step into the unknown before consciousness hits the frequency of the intelligence. And it has to be that way, because otherwise consciousness is reading a program. So I just had to share that with you. And then the invitation here is, do I want to activate these frequencies within the programmed reality? Because there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you're having fun in the programmed reality, we can enhance that. And that you're going to be basically putting your intention into the program and expanding it and having your experience within the matrix. Or because there's this huge shift that is coming in for us all to have the experience with, and that's a big part of what this activation will be about, is, are you willing to take a step into not knowing where it's going to go? It's like, I don't know, right? I'm just going to take the step and I'm going to activate my consciousness in that unknown space so that I can have the experience of what it is to be the new human. Like, what is that, right? Like, what is it to be in the quantum body? What is it to be multidimensional? What is it to live outside the programmed experience of your body, your mind, reality, and even your connection to what we would call your soul or your spirit, right? Because if we're in observation, we are experiencing programming. And so the invitation today is to start this new frequency pattern from that, just being willing to step before you know where it's taking you, taking the step and then connecting. Let me make sure there's nothing more to that I want to share. Okay. So in that, for some of you, you've been kind of working with an intention. For some of you, this may be your first time hanging out with me, and I just want to say welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And you can take a moment to sit in what your intention would be. And what I mean by that is, when we use intention in this new earth frequency, or in this way where I don't know where I'm going. It's like, how do you have an intention and then take a step before you know what it is, right? It's that kind of energy. It's like, well, how can we do that? And this is what I've been playing with the evolution symbol is every time I have an intention, I run the symbol, and here's the symbol for those of you that want to see it. So this is a quantum technology that shifts the way the cells are operating from observation of its environment, meaning your belief systems, epigenetics, coding, to the expression of source. I call it the inside out. So the cell right now is going like this. All we do is we take it, we put it into the frequency of source, and then we turn it on so that it's just like the sun. It's shiny. Your cells become just like the sun. The frequency is an expression. So if you think about if your DNA is like the sun, the codes that are activating those higher dimensional aspects of the DNA, you could even say the other 10 strands of DNA that are right now in a multidimensional space where science isn't able to identify what it's doing yet, right? But we're starting to sense that and have these weird experiences of what it is doing and what it's capable of doing. That's what we call the new human experience, is that we have still like another 90% of our potential that we're not tapped into right now. And this is where we're headed. So when we turn on the sun, there's no observation anymore. It's when we go into observation is when we hold consciousness and reflection of what it is that we're seeing. And so when I have an intention, and then there's a part of me that wants to know, okay, well, is it working? Am I going to get it? What's the outcome? Right? You go into those kind of things when we place intentions, because with an intention, it's just that. It's an intention. Like, well, is it going to work? But this is what I was saying. What we're going to do with this is we're going to upload your intention into the DNA just like a software, right? We're going to put it in there and we're going to let it go. Then we're going to bring in the technology and the DMT codes, and we're going to tap into the frequency of the other side of the sun. So what does that mean? Just like our cells, the sun is just shining, but we're having the experience of the sun through the observation of the matrix. What is the sun outside of the matrix? It's an energy source that only shines. So think about it like this. You are like the sun. When your body is in full expression of the divine, it's like the sun. So not the observation of the sun, it is the sun. So what does that mean? That it's just shining. The sun isn't reaching outside of itself to see, oh, there's a cloud. I'm being covered up. Is anybody looking at me today? It's just shining, right? It's just this energy source that is just doing what it's just doing what it's here to do, right? And that is shine. And that's what each and every one of you is here to do, is to shine, right? And how do we shine in the best way possible is to break down the identity of our programming and attune consciousness. Because remember, our consciousness is a tool. It's not who you are. You're the intelligence of source. That's your innate being. And that intelligence is transcribed in your DNA. And Greg Braden, he wrote a whole book on this, the God Code, right? It's transcribed in your DNA. And all we're doing is we're taking our consciousness out of the observation of this programmed body and our programmed reality, and we're putting it inside of that transcribed frequency of source that is inside of you, is your innate being, and we're turning it on. And then you are shifting out of the old paradigm into the expression of source. And all you have to do is attune, use your tool, use the tool of consciousness to attune to the intelligence of who you are. Because once you fully attune, you become the intelligence. And that's the opportunity, that's the invitation today, is that we are going to activate the frequency of the sun, meaning we're shifting the cell from observation and experiencing not just the sun, not just energy. Just think about what the sun is, you guys. It's energy. It's frequency. And all we're going to do is turn it inside out and turn that on inside our DNA, connect it into the intelligence, and enhance your experience of what it is to be human. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to do the activation, and then we're going to open it up to questions and discussions and just have a lot of fun in what this frequency is. So bring your intention to mind, knowing that your intention, the only reason we're using intention right now is so that when you're done with this activation today, that your consciousness has something to focus on within the intelligence. It's like the new identity, you could say. You right? It's like taking what it is to have an intention in the matrix and then shifting it into this new paradigm, into this frequency of what it is to live through as the intelligence. And it's giving your consciousness a very specific frequency within that intelligence to experience. So your consciousness knows exactly where to go. So when it goes to, is it working? You just go, oh, I don't have to know if it's working. I know the intelligence is running the frequency pattern of my intention. So my job is to attune my consciousness to match the frequency of my intention through source. And that's all I have to do. And then I listen and I do and I experience. Okay, let's just place hands on heart if you feel guided. And we're going to start by attuning. All right, so we're gonna breathe in, if just seeing a white blue light. So it's this light, just a little tint of blue to it, allowing it to trace along the brain, moving down through the spine and out through the mouth. And just feeling as the spinal fluid is attuned to the frequency of source. You can feel it as it starts to activate the mind. It's activating your sacred channel. And in the next breath, allowing the light to trace along your brain, moving down through your spine and entering your heart space. Feeling the light as it enters your bloodstream, raising the frequency of your body. And then the next breath, allowing the light to trace along your brain, moving down through your spine, and then moving up and entering your pineal gland, allowing it to encompass your entire brain, activating every cell of your body to the frequency of source. And as every cell of your body is expressing that frequency, the frequency begins to move into the biophotons and the electrons of your body. And as they are activated, they begin to click together, creating a system of intelligence. You can see it as almost like a divine operating system, just like the inside of a computer. You can see it as light codes that are connecting. Just turning on your quantum body your divine operating system, your multidimensional body. And from here, just placing your intention. So, just as if you would be seeing the inside of a software system, you're just adding a code to the software system, placing your intention into your quantum experience of your body. And then just releasing it. And then from here, we're going to go right into the DNA. So seeing the master cell, you don't have to understand, you don't see it, that's okay. Just having the experience, you're just experiencing. And we're going to move right into the double helix. And we're going to first activate 3 DMT codes that we're working with today. If you want to look at the codes, you're welcome to, but otherwise just know that it's happening. So we're going to start with the 6. This is the ascended DNA. This is activating the DNA of the mitochondria. So just looking at the code, allowing it to move right through the third eye into the pineal gland, which is in the center of your brain, and allowing the code to spin as it activates the ascended DNA. Feeling that frequency as it connects into those biophotons, the electrons of your body, upgrading into that system, your divine technology. And then we're going to activate the 7. The 7 holds the frequency of the sun outside of programming. It is the messenger, the teacher. It's the channel of information. Just feeling that as it moves through the pineal gland, allowing it to spin, activating every cell of your body. Turning on the frequency of the voice of the divine. The expression of the frequency of the sun beyond the illusion. And then we're going to activate the 33. Full mastery. Experiencing your intention, the ascended DNA, the energy, the frequency of the sun, and full expression of divine intelligence. Just allowing the code to turn on. Feeling as it upgrades the frequency of your body. Feeling all of your cells moving into a higher spin state. And now just staying in the intention, staying in the experience of allowing the sun to activate that quantum experience of your body, that other 90%, moving into the possibilities. I want you to just have the experience as you begin to bring the sun out of the matrix, being willing to take that step, inviting in the experience of what it is to live outside the matrix. And just notice what your experience of the sun is as you invite in the intelligence to turn on the frequency of the sun in your DNA. Dissolving all the timelines and the belief systems. It's dissolving how the sun in rotation creates a timeline. Just feeling the sun as it's activating within your DNA, turning on the frequency of source in full expression. And as you're doing that, just feeling all the timelines of your body dissolving, all the belief systems, the attachments, the fears, the suffering, illness, as your body moves into full expression of source frequency. All you do is shine. We'll just give it one moment and just allow the frequency to upgrade the body. And as you're having the experience, and just going to invite you to attune your consciousness to the experience. You're not naming it. Your consciousness is just relaxing, experiencing, and you can play around with what it feels like to match the frequency of your consciousness to the frequency of source in full expression. Just like you would match the frequency as you tune a piano, you're matching the frequency of source. Before we come back, just allowing the sun to attune the back of your eyes, attuning the mind and your heart. Feel the sun as it's rewiring your brain to hold consciousness in the frequency of source. As it rewires your heart to listen to the guidance consciously through the quantum experience of the intelligence of source. Attuning your ears so that you're hearing multidimensionally. You're seeing beyond sight. Upgrading your nervous system where you feel without feeling. You just know. What would it be like to see without seeing, to hear without hearing? to know without thought, and to sense without feeling. You are the most advanced technology there is. And through this activation, you get to experience life beyond the matrix. So in this moment, just allowing yourself, inviting this experience in. Do you say yes to upgrading the human experience? Commit to that. Say yes to your intelligence, the intelligence of your body. It's a collaboration between your consciousness and the intelligence. And just taking in a deep breath, allowing yourself to just open up, staying curious, open to what the experience will be like from this moment forward. What will you focus on? What you're becoming, or where you came from? All right, I'm going to open it up to gallery. Just take your time coming back. Ooh, okay. I give everybody a moment to come back in. That was a lot. I feel like the sun. Okay. Is there anybody that would like to share their experience, or anyone? Yes, Kathy. Hi, honey.
Hi. Wow. I always, it's getting stronger every time I do this, and I haven't been in one with you for a while where we've done this, and it's hard to come out, but I feel it's getting stronger, and I could see it was like, it's kind of like bluish white light. And when we were going down, I was doing the deep breaths and bringing the light down and up. The last two, literally my back was, I don't want to say spasming, but it was this very strange sensation going up my spine. And then a little bit after, it was uh like I could feel sometimes. I mean, I do sometimes depending on the meditation, but like it's my left and right brain, I guess, because I'm more analytical left brained. It's always trying. I literally can feel it, like trying to rewire, integrate itself. So it was very, very strong. And then
Kathy, can
after
you
we were
give me one moment? Is I think there's somebody. I was hearing like another voice in the background. I'm
okay,
gonna make sure that is that coming from the your background, Kathy? Do you have a
it might have. I don't know.
okay?
I'm in a noisy place.
It's gone now. Okay,
Okay.
go ahead. Sorry.
So no. And then towards the end, then I saw, which sometimes I do in a very, um, I saw it, like purple lavenderish. To me, it's kind of like a smoke, so
Mm.
anyway, that was really good. And the other thing I wanted to say, I put in the chat, but when you were speaking about um the skin issue, I had an issue, and I thought, oh my God, I have so many things. What can I use? And I used the copper card, and within a few days it was healed. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you for sharing this. Yes,
Yeah.
I feel like we need to start talking about some of this stuff more. It because when we talk about it, we're holding the reflection of the new possibilities, right? It's important. Yeah, Carolyn's like she's been wanting me to talk about stuff for so long. She's so funny, but I do see the importance of it, and I am going to start sharing more of my experiences. But I thank you for sharing your experience, Kathy, because these
Okay, thank you.
are the ones that we want to hear. So thank you for that, and thank you for sharing. I can really feel I can feel the frequency running through your body. I'm like, it's making my body like go like this.
Oh, okay. I want to say that that is what my body does ever since. ever since I did the DMT journey and we hit the 11th code, the
Mm.
11, my body does that literally physically like a pendulum.
Mm.
So if you have any thoughts, you feel free to let me know.
I feel like it's like when we let go and we let the intelligence take over our body, it does what it needs to do. And will it always be that? Probably not, right? But for right now, it's doing something. I'm just like, I'm past the having to know why. And I'm just like,
Oh no, I don't need to know why. I
it.
just know that something's happening, but I just, wanted to let you know. So
And if
thank you.
anything, that's what I would take from it is something's happening and your body is having the experience and your consciousness is in witness of that.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. It's good to see you here. Okay, does anybody else want to share their experience or have a question or reflection? Let's see. Yes, share. Is it Shari or Sherry? Oh, you're on
Oh,
mute, honey. There you
okay.
go.
Hi there. It's actually Cherie.
Cherie. Okay, that's so beautiful.
Cherie. Yes. All right. So I'm relatively new to your community. I found you on YouTube, so I've been following you pretty faithfully. So and yeah, so I've enjoyed it. So when we were doing this whole process here, and what I've noticed when I do this type of work, I always feel like my neuropathy kicks in. I don't know if it's ascension symptoms or what, but only happens when I'm doing this kind of work. So yesterday I did a heart opening and had some like codes downloaded, like it was a group kind of thing, and the same thing happened. It's like this very like she said pain. I have that same pain, and I only feel it generally when I'm doing some sort of like download or consciousness work. So that was the first thing. But when we first started, the sensation I had in my head was that it started to like a little bit of a headache. And I
Mhm.
still have it a bit now, but it's like expansion somewhere in my head. Like it just ballooned open somehow. That's how I feel. And then when we were talking about, so my intention was to experience life outside of my programming. And I felt I felt like I had gone into a different sort of plane and that I was very, like almost ethereal, like very light. So that was kind of what was there for me. But I'm just curious about that really sharp neuropathy because that comes a lot of I don't know if it's an ascension symptom or what. I'm just curious. I want to kind of get your thoughts on that. So.
Where is the pain that is it all over or is it in a certain area?
It's in different places. So yesterday it was like on my left rib. I mean, just sharp, sharp, sharp. Today it was down in my foot.
Okay.
And then at other times I've had it in my like right wrist. So it's like, yeah, it really wakes me up. And I'm like, because I've kind of read some information about ascension symptoms, and they're just like, maybe it's just you had some dense energy there, and that's what was happening in the midst of these processes. But I just thought, I don't know. I just wanted to get somebody else's take on it.
Yeah, so okay, a couple of things. So first, let's clear that we have to have ascensions, like just like it's like this choice because where we're moving into as the experience of the quantum body is that we really are like shifting our consciousness from identifying as this to identifying as multidimensional. But the truth is, we're already multidimensional. We're just not having that experience because our consciousness isn't attuned to that experience of our body. So what I was seeing is next time, or if you're still having some stuff happening, and I know exactly what you're talking about with the balloon thing in your head because I used to describe it as like my brain got bigger than my skull. It's
Mhm.
like it was just like so I know the feeling that you're feeling and it's the rewiring of everything, right? But so now when next time you have that kind of sensation, so I'm trying to think, do I have a picture? If you go to our website, becomingbioquantum.com, and you download the Evo Star app, or actually, you don't even need to do that. You can just go into your phone and go
Mhm,
to your apps and download the EvoStar app, and you're gonna see this blue like quantum man, okay?
mhm.
That's what I see the quantum body look like. It's kind of this well, it's a man that's like a blue light, but it has these little lines that are connecting it.
Mhm.
So that's how it's like almost like the inside of a computer system is literally what I see. And so what I want you to do is push the experience of whatever you're having pain of the body in and
Mhm.
pushing it into that system. So I know that sounds like a little bit weird, but you put your consciousness behind the pain and then push your consciousness and push the pain and put it into the quantum part of your body
Okay.
and see what that does, because what it's doing is it's letting your body know, hey, it's okay for us to have the quantum experience of our body. We don't actually have to go through pain to be something we already are. And that's part of that old paradigm that's starting to shift. And when we get to this place as we continue to ascend, one of the spaces that we'll all start to step into is actually mastery over what is the old program of the body and what the new is. And that in that moment that we have observation of our body, let's say in pain, and then we want to identify, oh, it's an ascension symptom. Okay, well, maybe that's true, but does it really matter? No. What matters is that I'm aware of it, and now I need to bring it into the quantum experience. I need to
Okay.
bring it into the multidimensional experience, and then it becomes just information. We don't have to go into the story of it. We just get to shift it. That's the invitation. Ah, we got a baby.
Is Frankie.
Oh my goodness, so cute. He's coming for love. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'll let you sit with that. But yes, so the only thing I'm going to say again, because I feel like just like, in the old paradigm, we have to clear this and we have to clear this and we have to do this and we have all of that is fading and we're just starting to experience. So it's instead of clearing, we're shifting. Instead of the why, it's what. And then it's where and who, right? So it's the information of what I'm seeing. My body's in pain. Great. Okay, well, and now I'm going to bring it into where am I going to go? Into my quantum body. I'm going to experience it through the frequency of source. And then if you need an identity to hold your consciousness there, we give it a who. And so that's where we can be like, I am the quantum body. I'm experiencing this through my quantum body. And we can start to have an identity in that frequency. All right, lovely. Thank you so much for bringing it. And I'm so happy you're here. Welcome. Okay, does anybody else have a share or a reflection? Yes. Let's see. I'm sorry. How do you say your name, honey? Is R-A?
Radovi. And, it's just by chance that I'm here. It's really, I've bought products, a few skincare things from you in the past, and we chat. I don't know if you remember my name, because Radovi is rather
Yes,
unusual.
yes, it is.
Yeah, and we talked about when my book is published, I can get on your whatever program you're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
at the time. I don't know if you're still doing that.
Yes, I
But
am.
this is interesting. I just came out of a talk with someone, and I on my email, and I see that this, like, I had signed up for this, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna click and see what it is, and there it was, Jules, which I'm sure it was divine guidance that I needed to be here.
Well, I'm so happy you're here. And yes, I am still doing my podcast and
Oh, you
re
still are?
Mhm.
Oh, good. So, I can talk with you about that another time because this is a whole different program. And
Beautiful. You can reach out on if you go to the website and just go to the contact page, you can get a hold of me there. Thank you for being here. I'm
yes,
happy you're here. All right,
yes,
thank you. Okay, let's go with Glenn.
Hi there. Not
Hi.
sure if you can see or hear.
Yes.
Um, and I kind of understood a lot of the more advanced things that you're saying, but this is, first time into this paradigm. Oh, I didn't feel a shift, but a really weird thing happened, and maybe you can elucidate me. I've had a ringing in my ears that took me a couple months of hard meditation to maybe achieve. Could be
Mhm.
tinnitus, but I don't think it was. It didn't feel like it was. It felt like it was something spiritual. Boom, that just went away. Like it's not true tinnitus. It was just this ringing, and it sort of came and went a little bit, but right after this, I didn't feel anything, but that's just gone quiet. Is that related in any way?
I mean, I would say that is a shift.
Well, I haven't shifted before, so I don't know what I don't know, I'm afraid.
Right. And I love that you don't, because being in the space of I don't know is the best space to be. And what I would invite you to do, Glenn, is, so many times we know the answer and we in a reflection. So when I said that is a shift, like just take a moment and feel in your body, and your body will tell you, yes. It is, right? Can you kind of feel a yes in your body, or there could be contraction and you're like, no, that's not what it is. But when you can tell. Can you tell the difference when your body's saying yes and no?
I'm afraid not.
That's okay.
I only had that auditory, the removal of the auditory experience.
Yeah.
And I'm not denying it, but I don't have perhaps I don't have the sensitivity, or
Mhm.
I'm not correctly tuned, but I certainly know that things are about to change and I don't want to get left behind.
Well, you will not get left behind. It will just be what's your experience of the shift, right?
Right.
But so what I'm hearing in your experience though is a couple of things. One, I would start paying attention and learning a little bit about clairaudience. And then because I feel like that you just hit the other side. So you're on the other side now. So how can I hear information beyond what I hear, right? So, and where you could start is just little things like hearing a message on a song or talking to somebody and they say something and, ooh, I just need to pay attention to that, right? You just kind of have that little gut feeling, you could say. But I'm also hearing, one moment, that you are a very closely aligned with what they call claircognizance. And when you're saying, I don't really feel anything, what I'm hearing and what you're saying is that you don't need to feel this to have the experience. You don't have to see it to have the experience. People that have very strong levels of claircognizance, it can be one of the harder ones to set to know that that's what you're actually tapping into because you just know it and you don't know how you know it. You just know it. So what I'm going to invite you to do is as you kind of meander on after this call is to just stay open to how you know things. Pay more attention to when you're getting thoughts, is that a thought I've had before, or is this a new thought? And I think what you're going to find is that you're way more intuitive than you think you are. You're just doing it in a way that you didn't know you were doing it. Make sense?
Thank you. I hope to make sense of it over time.
Well, we'll have the recording so you can go back and listen to that. But I
Yeah,
think
for
just
sure.
give yourself more credit than you are. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not already happening. Yeah. Thanks, Glenn. I'm so happy you're here. All right, Jen. Let's see. You're on. You just need to unmute yourself. Here, I think I can. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Hi.
Hi. This is the first time on with yourself. I think I originally saw you on the frequency summit that you did. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then I just got the email at 5 o'clock, and then I tried to log on, and it was the wrong link, and then I was panicking. And I don't feel anything, and I'm so sensitive, and I always in crippling anxiety mode. And I know I'm totally not in alignment with anything. And I so want to get there. And I love all this, you know, I just love it, but I can't get there. I can't even do breathing exercises. And as I say, I just love everything that you do. You just have a lovely energy, and I can't get there.
Well, first, let's take the word can't out.
Okay. I've
And
never fitted in either since right from being a little girl ever. I seem to, I don't know.
so what I'm feeling, Jen, is very similar to kind of Glenn, is that you're living in this space more than you think you are. And this is what happens when we're kind of like, I don't want to like, I'm just going to create a scenario or a story here so that we can kind of follow it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like when you are born at a really high frequency. Okay. And you don't match the frequency of the world.
No,
And
definitely.
you don't have anybody in your life to guide you into learning how to master your frequency, regardless of what's happening around you, it can create a lot of static, fear, and what a lot of times you end up living in your primal body because your frequency doesn't match where you are. I mean, it's literally like you got put into a world that you're the only one that speaks that language and you're trying to survive. It's like the body turns on this primal response and then you're trying to get out of it so that you can just be who you are, right? But this is the invitation here, Jen.
I resonate with that so much.
Good. Okay. So this is the invitation. You get to be in the frequency you are, and your mastery is that you don't need people to match you. That's not what this is about, right? And to let yourself experience who you are without having to identify and I need to survive. Okay. So how do you do that? You keep,
Yeah.
okay, you just keep attuning, right? So you keep using these technologies and these tools that are out there to keep your frequency high. But the invitation here, I'm going to have, this is the one tool I'm going to give you to walk away with here is I don't want you to get off this call and go and search through your programming and try to file it away as an experience you've had before. What I want you to do is ask, okay, I recognize I've lived my whole entire life the way I've lived it, and I have been living in fear and trying to survive. The question is like, am I done? It's kind of like that first place where we started. It's like, am I willing to take a step before I know what to do? And that opens up a new level of trust, right? And I know you want to resist this, but honey, this is the only answer. The only answer is to attune to the God code frequency. You're not going to find the answer by recreating what you've already created. You cannot find, just like, what was it, at Einstein? You can't find a solution from the level of consciousness that created the problem, right? So what there's where you are right now is it's time to practice it.
I mean, I really need to because it's had the most detrimental effect on my mental health you can imagine.
Right.
So
Well,
just, yeah.
and that's just that the part of you that doesn't feel like you can get better is a program. It's just a program. And so the invitation is, am I willing to let that go and move into a new experience of my life? And that's like a big question, right? Because you are so identified in your wounds. Like your wounds have created who you are. And for you to become something different means that you have to let go of your wounds. And that is something that you really should sit in. Like, am I willing? And it's easy to say, yeah, I'm
I'd
ready
love
because
to
I
get
don't want
rid
to
of my
suffer.
wounds. I'd love to get rid of
It's a deeper question than what you think that I'm asking, because it's really easy to say, yes, I want to get better. I don't want to live my life in this way anymore. But to be really, really honest with yourself in that question is to know that to do that, you're going to become somebody else. And that is the hardest thing for somebody to do, because you are identified in your wounds and your programming. And to not identify in that means that you have to put your consciousness in an intelligence that is unknown. Right? So it's like almost like, okay, well, I want to get out of fear, but the only way to do that is to move into the unknown, which is the biggest fear of all. And that's the question I don't want you to answer it right now. That's what I want you to sit in, though, is which fear is bigger? Continuing my suffering,
yeah.
or to go into the unknown? And but don't I want you to answer it. I want you to sit in this and be really honest. This is between you and the divine. And I want you to take it seriously. So spend some time with us after the call today, okay? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, honey. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Carolyn.
I got on the call a bit late, but I did get the 3 processes, and no, not all. I get into this place where I just go, ah,
Mm.
and it's just so beautiful. But before we ended, this is what my question was. I suddenly get a flash, like a square photograph came on the screen and then went off. And it was of a picture of a hedgehog, which is an animal anyway, it's a creature in England. And I don't know why it suddenly arrived and then left. And when I come out, I go, it's not exactly a timeline, although it was in a timeline, because there was no connection to anything else in my life. And I don't understand what happened.
Okay, I love, okay, so a couple of things. Like one, of course, we go to the obvious is go look up the spiritual meaning of a hedgehog and get the information, right? Because everything is information. So if there's like something that sparks when you're reading that, like listen to that and take the information that it's showing you. That was the first thing. But this is also because I've had like not exactly like what you're saying, but I'm just going to share some of the experiences that I have. Is let's say I'm like walking my dog, and all of a sudden, like without even really realizing it, I'll look over and there's like a car parked, and when I look at it, I see a broken windshield and like it had gotten in an accident, right? And then I look back and it's fine. And I'm like, oh, what is that all about? Right? Like you skip timelines and all this stuff. Well, like ironically, like 3 days later, there it was, and it was an accident, right? So it's like we're seeing like the different levels of timelines depending on where we're holding our consciousness. And so that was coming through when you were saying that story, like were you just like flashing in and out? And I feel like we're going to have more and more experiences of that. And this is what I will say though, too. It's not about going into the why. It's just, you have to remember it's just information. So what's the information? And that's why I was getting to go look up the spiritual meaning of a hedgehog. And as you're reading it, just stay open. And when you hit something that your body's like, "Ooh, that's it," then know that that's the information it was giving you, and then you can start to run it back into your technology. Make sense?
What do you mean by running it into your technology?
So because we don't want to identify for too long in what the information is saying, because once you hit the information, there's always more, right? So let's say, I don't know, if somebody wants to look up what a hedgehog is, like let's say it's
Well, because we had one that was living in our garden when I was a kid, but it didn't go through all that any family stuff or even identified. It was just, but the hedgehog, when it's attacked, it rolls up into a ball and all spines of it are facing outward. So that's what a hedgehog does when it's attacked. The rest of the time, it's just plugging along and.
I'm like getting an image and they're so cute. Okay. What I just heard is you have everything you need.
Okay, good.
That's what I heard. So then you can take that now and say, okay, if I have everything I need, what am I going to do next? It's like, if I have everything I need, how would I live my life? And that's what I want you to go explore.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Thank you, honey. All right. Okay, we'll go to with Jen. Or wait, Jen, you already went. So we'll go with Carolina.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for this. And I'm also relatively new to your work, and I did get the evolution cards about a month ago.
Okay.
And I've been using them pretty much every day. And I've been feeling the expansion. I have been feeling the shifts in my body, in my awareness. And I'm also feeling my mind is not working the same way. It feels like almost like I feel like before I was sharper in my mind was sharper. I would retain information. I would be very good at reasoning and understanding things. I feel like I'm not having that same experience now. And it's scary at some point because it's like I used to rely so much on my mind and I don't know what to do now, right? Like it's this new space. And just wanted to see if you have anything to share about that.
Right. Yeah, those transitions are, those are the times where so many people they give up because it's so uncomfortable because you're literally becoming something else, right? And especially when it has to do with the way we think and we start to shift into these other ways of thinking. What I'm going to say is just let it ride, right? Let yourself have the experience because also what I see happening is that intuition is just starting to get a little bit stronger and coming online. So inviting in the experience of receiving information that's not through your mind, right? So what does it feel like to receive information through my senses, through my clairaudience, through clairsentience, all of those different things? Like, are you pretty tapped into your intuition?
I feel like I'm starting to be more aware of it. Maybe I'm recognizing it more now than I used to.
Yeah, because what you're going to find is that is where I would start putting my focus. Just because you are starting to let go of going into your filing cabinets to abstract information every time. And it's like your body is turning on for you to have the next level of the experience. And so focusing on receiving information through your intuition is kind of your next step. And it gives you something to focus on. And it's a tool, right? Because that information is just as valid, if not more valid, than the information you're going to get through your mind. It's just a transitional process of going through a programmed experience of thinking to receiving information more multisensory. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
You got
thank
it,
you.
girl. Uh-huh. All right. Well, I think we're about out of time, everybody. I just want to thank you for coming. And I would say, as you're getting off this call and as you're moving forward today and tomorrow, we're still in the peak of this frequency. So let yourself sit in the frequency, open yourself up to receiving the guidance, let yourself unravel any last minute things that you're ready to just release and let go. All you have to do is ask, take it. and elevate my experience into this other space and just let it happen, right? Because yes, we have these technologies that we work with here. You are the technology, you guys. You are the technology. All you have to do is ask, let it upload into your body, bring your consciousness into the frequency that was activated, and have the experience over and over and over again. And you just heightened that experience by turning on these codes and amplifying it through these frequencies that are here for us today and tomorrow. Not to put it in a timeline, because you can listen to this for a week and you're still going to tap into it, right? But enjoy it is the whole point. And I'm just going to send you all so much love, and I hope to see you next time.